Would you be shocked if Jerry does trade up to try to get Pitts?
I would be shocked. I don't see it happening. First of all, when I first started hearing it, I was thinking, this is a smokescreen. Jerry knows he's going to get the best corner in the draft, most likely. They're going to have their pick, and we know who it's going to be, right? And that's what they need. So why, and by the way, are we sure that Surtain is not the best player in the draft or best defensive player in the draft? Are we sure? But also, the Cowboys have a potent offense. And by the way, they got a lot of tight ends. None of them are like Kyle Pitts, but they're good. You know, Blake Jarwin's coming back, and they signed a couple guys. They're good. They're solid there. And they have receiving targets everywhere you look. But even more importantly than that, Stephen A., when I look at the Cowboys, I keep going back to that Johnny Manziel draft. Obviously, the showman that Jerry is, how could he not have been tempted? He even publicly said so. And what they wind up doing? Zach Martin. Stephen Jones, I think, as he's come up in the organization, has had a good kind of steadying effect on his dad. They make this, the reason that the Cowboys usually have pretty good drafts is they make the solid football move normally, and I expect that to happen again. And in this case, Jerry's even telling you, look, if someone falls to him, if Pitts is there for him at 10, yeah, he'll take Pitts. I believe that. But I don't think he's going to, as he said, trade draft capital to move up and grab him when they have other needs and they're in a great position to fill them.
Maximus. You still haven't learned, buddy. Let me tell you something, buddy, right now.
Oh, here we go.
Are you aware of the fact that the Dallas Cowboys gave up the fifth most points last year, and in giving up over 2,500 yards rushing was the second worst rushing attack and rushing defense rather than all of football? Obviously, they have some needs on the defensive side of the ball, so it makes perfect sense that they would go that route. And then when you think about the defensive side of the ball with Trevon Diggs playing one of the corner spots for them and looking quite impressive, I might add, you would think Surtain out of Alabama would be the way to go because obviously he's the best cornerback in the draft, and having him to shore up one side of the field really elevates your defensive prowess. That would be the logical step, right, Max? Right, Molly? Mm-hmm. But you are so wrong. I'm not saying they're going to take offensive player. They're going to move up to take Pitts, but I don't put anything past that but my buddy Jerry Jones, and here's why. What did Jerry Jones do? The most notable thing that Jerry Jones did this offseason? Jerry Jones signed Dak Prescott to that long-term deal that he's been after. And think about that for a second here. Jerry Jones likes to look good. Well, what will make Jerry Jones look good better than Dak Prescott looking all world, validating that money that Jerry Jones decided to dole out to that man? Think about this. Amari Cooper looked good, had a 1,000-yard receiving season. C.D. Lamb, your rookie last year, had nearly 1,000 yards receiving. Mike Gallup is still there. You get a tight end, and especially with Ezekiel Elliott taking a step back, you look Dak Prescott, you just paid him that money. You want him to play lights out. You want your investment to look like a good one. And what you do, you go there and you get a generational tight end like Pitts. And you say, excuse me, what about the defense? What about the defense? Well, Jerry Jones is able to say, hey, it was schemes. Schematically speaking, I mean, we shouldn't have played the defense that Mike Nolan was playing. He's no longer there. We got Dan Quinn. He used to be a head coach in the Atlanta Falcons. We know how that worked out. But guess what? He was an elite defensive coordinator in Seattle before he got to Atlanta. So as a result, since we're going to be doing things differently schematically, DeMarcus Lawrence will look better, and so will the rest of that defense. And we obviously got a number of picks moving down the line to address those concerns. Go for the best talent. And if Jerry Jones can pull it off, Max Kellerman,
you know what, though,
that's
Stephen
exactly what he's going to do.
You know who he'd have to trade with to get that done? He'd have to trade with San Francisco. He'd have to trade with San Francisco because
but we're not talking about what's going to happen.
Cincinnati, and Miami, Pittsburgh not going to be there.
Don't change the subject. We're not talking about what will happen because we understand that nobody's going to do it. But what I'm saying to you is that if he could, he would.
Well,
if he could, he would sit up there and say, hey, you know what? This is something he would do. I don't think it's going to happen either, but only because he can't.
Stephen A., what I'm saying is it wouldn't be impossible to make a trade with San Francisco.
Not impossible, but highly
because if
unlikely.
San Francisco wants their choice of quarterback, it is unlikely Atlanta, Cincinnati, or Miami takes one. San Francisco could move down a little bit. It would have to involve another team, I suppose.
I don't think they're moving down.
And still wind up with their quarterback.
I don't think they're moving down. You know, he's a gunslinger, that Jerry Jones. You understand? He don't want to do that. He don't want to do that. He want to roll the dice. He want to take a chance. You understand? That's what he wants to do. If he could do it, he will. He won't do it because I don't think he can.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.